Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the version 3.4 Pure Fiction, of course, did just come out not too long ago, and we went ahead and cleared it with some of our newest DPS characters, that being Finon and Cassius. But you know what? I figured, why not roll back the years a bit? How about we use some of our units, which of course just got buffs in version 3.4 as well. So of course, this time I'm talking about KAFKA as well as Blade. For the first off, we're going to be going for a dot team, using Blackswan, KAFKA, Robin, as well as Aventurine. Also, of course, picking up the dot buff. And then for the second half, we're going to be going for Sunday, Blade, Tribbie, as well as Hyacine, picking up the enemies receiving more damage, because of course Blade doesn't really deal skill damage. So yeah, that's the teams we're going to be using. All premium 5 stars here are E0S0. Full character builds will be at the end. But real quick, if you want to pull any version 3.4 units or beyond, then I have the perfect thing for you, and that's today's sponsor, lootbar.gg. You can use Lootbar to top up in your favorite games like Honkai or Genshin Impact and save up to 25% on your purchases. Lootbar leverages favorable exchange rates and uses Hoyoverse partner ads so you can get the most affordable prices and enjoy all Hoyoverse top-up bonuses. Transactions on Lootbar are simple, safe and secure, as you only need to enter your UID and your region in order to get fast delivery. For example, if I want to buy the 3,280 generic shards and receive double with the first time top-up bonus, all I have to do is enter my UID as well as my server, and then if I go to top up now, they typically arrive in less than a minute. And creators like Ride Shotgun, To That Time, and Mordex Tryhard are all also collaborating with Lootbar, so they are trustworthy, and they also have some very good reviews on Trustpilot, and I just use them myself so I can vouch for the authenticity, speed, and security. New users can also get an extra 10% off, so be sure to check out Lootbar with the link in the description. Thank you to Lootbar, and back to the video. Alright, well then, here we are on the first off with our dot team. It's been such a while since I've run the dot team in Pure Fiction. Now, one of my favorite teams to run in Pure Fiction back in the day, like when I first started doing endgame content here, especially Pure Fiction, was the Dotcaron team. I used to absolutely love Dotcaron so much. I wonder how strong it would still be nowadays. Honestly, I feel like probably just going pure dot because of how good KAFKA is as an enabler nowadays is probably the better option. But, I mean, hey, it's always an option if you think about it. Anyways, okay, these guys are actually taking some decent dot damage already. They're dying to the dots. We love to see that. Okay, he's gonna hit us and give us a bit of extra energy as well. I just really can't wait until Hyacine. I'm not gonna lie, Hyacine is one of my favorite designed characters I have seen in Honkai Star in such a long time. We also have managed to trigger the big Pure Fiction buff this time, which is nice. Let's go ahead and use our Blackswan's ultimate. Can we take anyone out there? Okay, we only took one person out. That's unfortunate, but you know what? It's fine. Let's just go ahead and use our KAFKA's ultimate here as well. And a casual 318k there, because the entire wave. How nice. I think let's just go ahead and get some weakness break on this guy already. And he's actually taking a bit of dot damage, so he might die before we actually break his weakness bar, which would be quite funny to see. I'm also so glad that they made KAFKA's detonation a blast attack now. It just feels so much better. But yeah, I have such high hopes for when the dot team comes out. Now, of course, since we did wish for final on this account and lost our 50-50, even though we got an early, well, slightly early, okay, maybe I shouldn't have ulted when there was only 4% left, but you know what, it's fine. At least we build a lot of energy on our KAFKA in this team, because we are running tutorial as well as a Lushaka for a bit of extra ER, as well as an ER up, so we are getting a lot of KAFKA ultimates here, as long as the main boss still has Blackswan's defense buff, debuff on them. But yeah, also getting to the next wave already is pretty nice, even though we haven't even finished the first cycle yet. So we are actually making decent progress here, and as you can see, we already have our KAFKA ultimate back. But yeah, I just feel like they made such nice quality of life improvements to KAFKA, and when the Hyacine comes out, I just can't wait. I just really hope we win the 50-50, otherwise we're going to have to go majorly into our emergency pull funds, aka our Starlight, which we do have a lot of. I just don't really want to spend it. I rather we win our 50-50, because we have lost our last two 50-50s in a row. We lost at Pity for Hyacine, then we had the Pity to get her again, then we lost the Pity for Finon, and then we got him at about 50. So, you know, it's not ideal out here, so if we could stop our loss streak of 50-50s, that would be nice. If only this game had Capturing Radiance like Genshin. Actually, no, I'm surprised they haven't added that in yet. I feel like they probably will eventually, but or at least an adjacent mechanic. Anyway, we're making good progress here on the second wave already, up to 15k points already, which is very promising. Now, of course, I was expecting this half to be our stronger one, thanks to the fact that you know, this is massively favored towards dot, this current Pure Fiction. I mean, of course, that's because Hyacine will be the next released character. She will be the first half of 3.5, which is very exciting. Well, just as exciting as it is nerve-wracking, of course. But yeah, let's see now. Will we be able to actually take out this boss before the cycle ends? It's a possibility. We might have 2 entire cycles to take out the final boss, or Japad, I think it is. Yeah, it's Japad. So 2 cycles for Japad actually would not be bad. Maybe we'd even be on track for a 40k clear, perhaps. Let's go ahead and use Blackswan's ultimate here. It will help us generate a bit more grit, I believe. Okay, never mind. It's KAFKA who helps us generate a lot of grit. I absolutely lied. Okay, then let's see if we go ahead and use a KAFKA ultimate, this should be able to clear out the wave, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Okay, you know what, let's just go ahead and refresh our skill. Ooh, actually maybe I didn't need the skill there on Blackswan. Oh well, that's fine. Okay, does this take out the wave? The answer is not yet, but this might if one of the summons goes down. Okay, 1%. Okay, not quite, but if we use an Aventurine ult on the boss, I believe this should take him out. Yes, it does. Okay, perfect. So now we basically have 2 entire cycles to take out Japad. Now, of course, the thing about the brand new Purification, like, I remember, if you guys remember, before Purification got changed, I feel like the summons on the final wave weren't that tanky. Then during the first change to Purification, they still weren't that bad. But then I feel like, especially from like the 3rd Purification onwards, after the changes, the enemies on the just got so tanky. Like the summons for the final boss are absolute HP sponges right now. Which is why, honestly, I feel like Mini Herta as well as Himiko just aren't that good in Purification anymore, because the HP pools kinda got insane, especially on the final wave, which of course is where, you know, most of your points are, which is kind of where you make or break. So yeah, that's unfortunate. But anyway, we have already got 25k, and we do have about 1.5 cycles left as well. We also have a Robin ult, which we can use at the end of the cycle to extend it a bit more as well, which is nice. You know what, let's go ahead and use Aventurine ult here. It will help us weakness break, which means Japad will be taking less turns. And because it's a magic weakness, that it slows them even more, because of course it imprisons, which then means that we can build up even more Arcana as well as dots. I just fat-fingered my Robin ultimate there when I meant to hit the KAFKA ult there. Okay, I wanted to use the Robin ult at the end of the cycle, although you know what? Maybe it's better to use the Robin ult here, because maybe we can actually get one more in before this PF ends. But if we can't, and Robin's ult ends at after like our timer ends, then I might have just thrown. We should still be good for 30k, but maybe that could have gotten us to 35 for a 40k. We'll have to wait and see. Like I said, I'm just really hoping here. Okay, by the way, we can go ahead and use our KAFKA ult here to generate a bunch more grit and basically get into the enhanced state very quickly. Yep, we're already up to 85, 95. Okay, so as soon as an enemy takes another turn, we should be back in the grit state, like so. Perfect. But yeah, okay, let's see. Okay. Robin's ult does finish before our run finishes. So actually, me fat-fingering the Robin ult there might have saved us. You know what? That's perfect. Okay, please hit Blackswan so that we can get her ult. Perfect. Okay, Japad is already at 44 stacks of Arcana. If we go ahead and use Blackswan's ultimate here, of course it won't really deal damage to anyone, but we don't need that. All we need to is to apply Arcana, and then this means that Japad should be staying at, okay, not quite 50% yet, but he should be soon. Okay, like so. Perfect. So now we should, okay, we're definitely gonna get 30k here. The question is, can we get 35? 35 would be a very nice score. Like I said, I don't know how well our blade is going to perform. This is of course a hyper carry E0S0 blade. If it was in a caster's team, I'd be so sold on this. But since it isn't, you know, we do have to be a bit careful here. Okay, we've already hit over 30k. The dot half has gone very well, even at full E0S0 so far. Now let's go ahead and see. Also, our builds aren't the best nowadays. I'm just scrambling together whatever I have left from other supports to put on KAFKA, and then giving some of our best dot pieces to Blackswan, but even then they're not perfect. Let's just go ahead and refresh our skill here on our Robin as well. And then we'll go ahead and use her ult at the end of the cycle. Go ahead and use KAFKA's ult straight away, because we'll probably be able to get one more in, I want to say. Okay, did that just deal 1 million damage to everyone? And then even then, barely anyone went down? Yeah, like I said, the HP pools right now in Purification, especially on the 3rd wave, are just absolutely insane. It feels very unfriendly if you don't have some of the strongest Purification units. But I find, okay, we already have another KAFKA ultimate. Although honestly, I'm not too sure if I want to use it here. I think we're just going to go ahead and build up some more Arcana, especially using Blackswan's ultimate here to build it up. And then, you know what, we can go ahead and use the skill here, because we can go ahead and use Aventurine's basic attack to get us one more skill point for our Kafka. Use our Robin ultimate here, and now we go ahead and use Kafka's ultimate. How many points do we score after that? Okay, 33k. Can we hit? Okay, no, we can't. 35k maybe? Okay, Surging Grit. Perfect. If we go ahead and use a basic attack here, okay, nearly 35k. If we use our Aventurine ult on this guy because he has the lowest HP, and okay, follow-up attack from Aventurine and from Kafka. We can also proc another Kafka ult as well, get a lot of weakness break whilst we're in the surging phase. Stay at 721k, and we got a score of 35,000. Perfect. We love to see that. That's actually very impressive from our dot half. That being said, let's now go ahead and proceed with the blade half. Okay, well, as you can see, our score on the left-hand side is about 3,000 lower. That's because as soon as I went into battle, I realized that our Sunday was on the wrong speed tuning, so I just went ahead and auto-battled the first half because I didn't feel like doing that clear again. So we can pretend that says 35,720 instead of 32,760. And let me just go ahead and re-enable the sound because I did not feel like listening to Robin's ult whilst that was going on in the background auto-battling. Anyway, let's just go ahead and use our Hyacine ult here. Now we will have to wait probably a second before our Tribbie ult goes off. We might need to do the first rotation without the Tribbie ult, but that's fine because the HP pools on this first wave aren't that incredibly high. Okay, perfect. Now we can go ahead and go into the enhanced state with our blade. I hope our blade gets hit a lot. You know, he is supposed to right now. Let's just go ahead and, you know what, let's use Sunday's ult on our Bladey as well. You can go ahead and use his ultimate here probably as well. Yep, perfect. We don't have Tribbie's ult now, but I do want to save it slightly. Okay, what do we want to target here is the question. You know what, let's go straight down the middle and weakness break these guys, I think. Probably the simplest thing to do. And then also Tribbie will launch our follow-up attack, which is nice. And the reason why I'm not ulting on Tribbie right now is I don't want to accidentally mess up the speed rotation because of dance, so I'm going to wait for after Blade goes. Then he uses his follow-up attack, and now we can use our Tribbie's ult as well. Perfect, and then that's also going to deal some extra damage as well. The nice thing about this team is, of course, Hyacine and Tribbie do contribute decent damage as well. Especially Hyacine. You could probably run a Hyacine hyper... Actually, no, you definitely can run a Hyacine hyper carry team in Pure Fiction. I actually really like Hyacine DPS teams. I remember running it once in Memory of Chaos against Pollux. It was actually really fun. I do love it quite a lot. It actually got a similar clear to our Blade, but yeah. But that was before Blade got buffs. Now, after Blade's buffs, he would probably outperform a DPS Hyacine, especially if you're running Hyacine with him, but maybe even without one. Also, the HP pools are so low here. These guys should go down. Yep, Ika attacks, deals a big amount of damage to the entire wave, which is perfect. Now, our Blade gets to go again. You know what, yeah, let's just finish this guy off, I think. Then we can go ahead and use our ultimate as well for some extra big damage. Now, of course, if this was an E1 blade, which of course you can get off the losing a 50-50. Now, like I said, we did lose our 50-50, both to Hyacine as well as Finon, which is after the buffs came out, but we lost to Bailu as well as, who was it? Bailu as well as Fuxuan, which I actually don't mind losing to Fuxuan because I didn't have her, but like I said, I just really want an E1 blade. E2 blade would be even better as well, so that we could get that crit rate buff, and then I would basically be using blade in every endgame content because I would not miss on the chance of using an E2 blade. But unfortunately, you know, it wasn't to be, especially the Bailu. The Bailu really annoyed me. But then what's even more annoying is on the ult account, when I was wishing for Saber, I got a wind destruction unit, but it was an E1 blade, and I don't even really use blade on that account. I probably will have to after getting his E1 because I can't resist. But yeah, it's really annoying that I just pulled for a new wind DPS, and I ended up getting an E1 blade who might even be on par to Saber if you don't have her best in slot team, which is, like I said, slightly vexing. Anyway, we're just going to go right down the middle here so that we can deal damage to the summons on both sides. The 424k on the ult, as well as 1 million on the follow-up attack. Who thought we'd be seeing 1 million damage on Blade in the big 2025? Now, of course, this is helped by all the buffs and stuff like that, 5 targets and all that. But you know what? 1 million damage on Blade is 1 million damage on Blade. We will take whatever we can get. Ika will go ahead and deal some extra damage for us here as well. 454k, absolutely massive. Let's go ahead and use our Tribbie ult as well. We can't action forward anyone into this phase, but on the bright side, you know, they still get action forwarded, which is nice. Sunday also has his ult, which means we can ult on his turn in order to get a slight ult extension, because of course if you ult on Tribbie, Hyacine, or Sunday's turn before they before they use their skill, it actually basically extends it by 1 turn, which is very nice for conserving SP, because it basically means you can go ahead and use a basic attack on Hyacine as well, which is rather useful. 352k there on the basic attack. 300k is now reachable for Blade. We're going to go ahead and use our ult here for another 491k, go straight down the middle, and then Tribbie and Hyacine can clear out the waves, which we deal. Like I said, I'm not sure if I should be targeting the boss exclusively, or if I should be mixing in boss as well as summons when I see that they might go down, or if I should exclusively be targeting the summons, or maybe just the guy on the left and the right. You know, I'm not too sure what to do, so I'm just doing what I feel best, and that's sometimes going for the boss, sometimes going for the guys on the edges, or rather the guys beside the boss. You know, like I said, whatever I'm feeling. Okay, we will be able to ult on Hyacine's turn here, like I was talking about, which, like I said, will give us basically an extra ton of it, which will allow us to use a skill point. Or we can just refresh the ult sooner and get more damage. 263k there from the from the Tribbie follow-up attack as well. 465k there from Ika, and then Ika gets to go again, and this time deals 396k. And that, okay, that's the boss down. Now, unfortunately, we are taking slightly longer to clear her than we did on the first half. Now, we will be getting 60k here. We actually probably would already be at 60k if I didn't have to reset. But you know what, it's fine either way. We will still be able to get it. The question is, I don't think we'll be able to beat our high score. The good thing here is, though, that Hule is actually really good into Blade, because Hule just attacks so often, so our Blade will be getting even more follow-up attacks. So although we cleared the second wave slightly slower, we should be able to speed up a bit on the third and final wave. Once again, just because of how often Hule attacks. Although, how have we gone attack 3 or 4 times and Blade hasn't got hit once? Okay, perfect. Finally he goes, deals 600k there on the follow-up attack as well, which is very nice. And okay, he will get hit here as well, perfect. And he gets hit again. Will he get hit again? Yes, he does, perfect. Okay, Ika can go again. We're just even though we have an extra turn left, we're just going to go ahead and summon Ika. And let's see, 100k from Tribbie, 273k from Ika, into another 168k from Ika. We take those, although Blade definitely is doing the majority of the damage on this team as well, which you love to see. Holy, that is a lot of damage. Chill out, Bladey. 527k there also from the follow-up, love to see that. And then we can go ahead and use our ult on our Blade again. 300k right down the middle will of course deal the splash damage. Like I said, I just love playing Blade so much. Blade is one of my favorite feeling characters to play. We did also hit over 60k. Like I said, I'm not sure we're going to be able to beat our high score, which we got with Castris as well as Final, because I mean Castris was just absolutely insane. I mean, if we used Dot on the first half and then Castris plus Blade on the second half, we probably could beat our high score. But like I said, I just want to showcase Blade here, and he is doing a damn good job here. And you know what? Actually, because we have so few turns here, and I actually feel like if we just use our ult on Hyacine, we probably deal more damage here than a Blade ult, because he's not close to his follow-up attack. Let's see, 484k there from Tribbie's follow-up, into 240k from Ika. Actually, Blades probably would have done a bit more there, but you know what? We got a score of 62,600 using a Dot team as well as a Blade hypercarry team, E0S0. You know what? We will take those. I'm very happy with that, and it's time to move on to the outro, as well as character builds. Well, and as you can see, both the KAFKA and Blade teams did pretty damn well. I feel like Blade just is a really solid pure fiction unit now that he gets hit more often, as well as getting pure HP scaling, so he deals more damage. So, you know, that means he gets more follow-up attacks off, which of course deal AoE damage. And then also having Blast on his ult as well as the skill is pretty useful as well. Honestly, even at E0S0, I think he's a slightly better pure fiction unit than Mighty, especially at E1 as well. But yeah, pretty insane to see. Now, of course, if you don't want to run him as a hypercarry, you could run him dual DPS with someone else, especially with Castris. I mean, if you want to run Castris, Tribbie, Blade, as well as Hyacine, that is just an absolutely insane pure fiction team, especially if there's a lot of win week, because Blade and Hyacine will just be doing some absolute work. But, you know, I would have done that, but since we just did this Castris run, I kind of wanted to showcase Blade by himself. And then also, I mean, the first half, the Dot team just did really well. Of course, this is before Hyacine's, but at the same time, this is also getting a massive buff. My prediction is that when Hyacine's comes out, the Dot team will be doing this good in Pure Fiction even without the dot buffs. All of that is just speculation. We'll have to go ahead and see just how good Hyacine is in Pure Fiction. You know, we're not too certain yet, but you know, either way, still pretty impressed with both these teams, and then, you know, very happy with how the buffs turned out. Now, real quick, if we take a quick look at our character builds, KAFKA nowadays, as we know, she is more of a amplifier for dot as opposed to the damage dealer. So we do have her 163 speed so that she can go as often as possible. She does hit 82 EHR as well. Partly thanks to the fact that before the tutorial starts does give us 40%, and then also we get a lot of energy because Blackswan reduces defense, and then that will give KAFKA a lot more extra energy, so we get even more ults for even more detonations. Actually, I assume nowadays I should probably level up KAFKA's talent as well. That would be a good thing to finally do. And then also for our relics, we are on speed, 2p speed, just getting as much speed, attack, and EHR as much as we can. Mainly speed and EHR, however. Main thing here is getting 160 speed, then we make sure we hit our EHR requirement, and then you can go into attack. Right after that, we are also on Lushaku to increase our Blackswan's attack, and then probably when Hyacine comes out, she will end up taking the first place spot, and then this does also give us some extra ERR as well, and then Eidolon, she is also, of course, E0. For our Blackswan, we're slightly off 3k attack. I could get her to 3k attack, but then our Robin would be below 4k. So, you know, I just want to prioritize the 4k on Robin before the 3k on Blackswan. 140 speed as well as reaching 125 EHR, thanks to the fact that we have an S4 Eyes of the Prey. Traces fully maxed out here. Relic, she is, of course, on the dot set as well, picking up speed, attack percent, as well as EHR as well. And then also on the Pan Cosmic set to give us a bit more attack in battle as well as EHR. And then Eidolon's as well, she's also E0. And then when it comes to our Robin, there we go, 4k attack, 121 speed, 124 ER as well, S5 of the event light con, traces maxed out other than the basic, and then also 2-piece attack, 2-piece speed, just so that we can still run attack boots as well. And then also on Vonwak, and then Eidolon's once again E0, and then for our Aventurine, there we go, 135 speed. He does actually have a bit of EHR as well on him as well, 35, because we are running an S5 trend of the universal market. Traces maxed out, and then also Night set full defense as well, other than speed boots on Broken Keel as well, and then also E0. Then when it comes to our Blade team, Blade is on 135 speed, 70 crit rate, so he does overcap by about 64% crit rate would be what you need to run Longevous as well as Sunday. So slightly overcap, but it's fine. 143 crit damage as well, but this will go to well over 300 when we are actually in battle. I believe at least, oh yeah, because we get the 36% from Ninja Record, 25% from Bone set, as well as Hyacine's signature set, as well as Sunday's crit damage buff. So yeah, absolute insane stats for Blade. Chases maxed out, and then Relics grabbing speed, double crit, and then I think we also have HP percent here as well, so you know, that's basically a perfect piece there. And then crit rate with some crit damage subs, could be a bit better, but you know what, gets the job done. Speed also allows us to get 100% crit rate, speed boots as well, double crit, and then Bone set, double crit with speed and crit damage here. And then also Eidolon's E0 when it comes to our Sunday. So Blade is on 135 speed, then our Sunday is 134 speed, 247 crit damage, 134 ER, thanks to the fact that he does have Brunya's Lightcon, as well as running a Penacony set as well to give him 5% extra ERR, speed and crit damage wherever we can pick it up as well. And then Eidolon's once again E0. When it comes to our Tribbie, there we go, 88 speed. She is also on the Poet set, 54 crit, 164 crit damage will go up thanks to Hyacine buffs, as well as Poet and Bone sets as well. And then the Relic, Lightcon S5 Dance, traces fully maxed out on the basic attack. Basically our leftover castress pieces on the Poet set as well. And then for our Eidolons, also E0. Then when it comes to our Hyacine, finally, she is on nearly 5k HP, 206 speed, as well as 88.8 crit damage, which isn't that much, but at least she buffs it herself by a bit. And then Trace is maxed out other than the basic. HP, speed, crit damage as often as we can, outgoing healing bonus, speed boots, as well as on the Giant Tree Plane Ornament set. And once again, E0. So yeah, that's it for our character build. Let me know what you think of the clear, what teams have you been using, and what are your thoughts on the buffed units in this current Pure Fiction. With that being said, I'll see you guys next time. See ya.